10 random magic cards rated. Day number 93 we're already on. Wow, everybody. Tooth update. Got some antibiotics. Got some delicious painkillers, which I'm on right now. And I've got a dental appointment scheduled. So hopefully we're in the clear. I won't be out for too much longer, but the show must go on. So I got to do some random cards today and probably schedule 2 or 3 more after this. So let's see what the first card of the day is. Happy Thursday. Oh, yeah, this is actually going up the same day I'm recording it. Happy same day, everybody, that I'm recording this. That never happens. So let's look at the first card here. It's Pacifism. I love Pacifism. I love it so much. Let me F11 here on our browser. And this is basically the same art as the Mirage Pacifism, but I'm still going to go all the way back to the Mirage Pacifism. So that's just the kind of guy I am. Isn't that just a better looking card when you think about it? It's the same card, Dev. This is the first appearance of Grak, who has appeared on a couple of Magic cards, mostly Pacifisms, I think, throughout time. I've always liked this art. It reminds me a bit of The Max, which was a show on MTV, and before that it was a comic book. But most people will not know what I'm referring to. Those of you who do, it's a good show, isn't it? It's a good comic book. I've still got Max #1 in this closet somewhere behind me. But that has nothing to do with Pacifism, the card. This is actually really good, especially way back in the day. When it first came out, this was second to, Swords to Plowshares in terms of like single target white removal. And it was really good in Enchantress decks and stuff like that. So it's got kind of a pedigree behind it, but now we see, strictly better Pacifisms. Not necessarily all the time, but I feel like we've definitely seen at least like 4 like strictly better Pacifisms. So I can't like score it as high as I once would have, but I will give it the honorary 5 of the day. I'm going to go ahead and do that just for you, Grak, because I love you and I miss you. There were many times in my life that I built decks with 4 Pacifisms. A lot. So this was actually once a real Magic card. I miss you, buddy. Swamp is up next. That's a basic. Doesn't count. Gets a 5. Arts. I like the border. In case, I guess a little bit of trivia here. I believe Mercadian Masks was the first set to do the, giant mana symbol in the middle of the text box, as opposed to actually saying tap, add whatever mana to your mana pool. This is not a change I particularly like. I would rather have text, but I'm old. Moving on to Merfolk of the Pearl Trident, a card that you would open in your 4th edition pack. And also your revised pack. Doesn't that revised frame look so good? What's a black bordered one look like? Can we? That's pretty nice. That's nice and good right there. But still, this is not good. It's a really bad card. The best thing about it is that it is a 1/1 Merfolk. You're paying for the creature type here, but still not good enough, especially considering all the 1-drop Merfolk that we have nowadays. But yeah, in case you haven't put it together yet, it's just 1 mana for a 1/1 Merfolk. Forgot that I should probably read these cards to you. Pacifism makes it so a creature can't attack or block when you enchant the creature with it. I didn't even read it. Sorry about that. But, it's Pacifism. Same thing with Merfolk of the Pearl Trident. MPT is one of the first cards that I ever saw in my life. It's in some ways one of the reasons I love Magic, even though it's just awful. It is just bad. This I'll have to give like a 1. Just a 1. Probably not a whole lot of things get a 1. So it's actually an interesting distinction. You think about it. Keep Safe. Only ever printed in Ikoria Lair of Behemoths. This is 2 mana for an instant. Counter target spell that targets a permanent you control and also draw a card. It's not bad. It really isn't, man. You want to keep stuff safe. Usually you want to do that. Weird. I didn't even think about the name of the card when I said that. But if you do want to save your stuff, then usually you want to do it for 1 mana, ideally. But cantripping. And also permanent you control, so it's not just creature, it's your enchantments, your artifacts, and those tend to be really important. So I don't know, man, I like this. It didn't see a whole lot of play back in the day when the first Ikoria was in standard, but it's not so bad, dude. I'm gonna give this like a 4.9, and it might even deserve more than that. I really like the word permanent on this card. I really like that. There's also Razor Grass Screen, only ever printed in 5th Dawn. This is a single mana for a 2/1 creature. It's a wall. It's also an artifact. Walls can't attack, so it has Defender. Razor Green's Grass blocks every single turn if able. I can see why this was only printed the 1 time. This is a remarkably terrible card. Really, though. So all they have to do is attack with their, 2/3. And your screen is done. It's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. I mean, I guess it's because it's a 1-mana 2/1, right? That any deck can play, and that's like the only real distinction the card gets. Overall, it's not good. I guess maybe in a walls deck, there's got to be better walls. Most 1-mana walls are booty. You notice that? We looked at Wall of Wood the other day. It's just like god awful. So hopefully one day we'll get a good 1-mana wall. Maybe we already have one. I'm forgetting about it. I'll come up with it eventually. Anyway, this card's bad. 1. Am I going to also give this card a 1? 1.1 blocks slightly better than a Merfolk Pearl Trident. You know, Rakdos Shred Free is a cool guy. He's from Return to Ravnica. 2 mana, Rakdos Hybrid on both of them for a 2/1 haste. We used to think that was really good. You know, a 2 mana, 2 power haste guy is almost playable, just right there. And there was a point in time where that was playable. So I don't know, man. Edward Scissorhands here looks pretty cool. He is a freak and he does shred. You know. Imagine him playing guitar. I don't know if he could pull it off, but I hear he can shred. But I mean, a 2 mana 2/1 ace. I'm gonna give it like a 2.7, something like that, because you could do way worse than that. 2 mana 2 power haste. It's like almost baseline. We'll take it. But a Johnny's Influence, only printed in a core set 2019. That is it. That is all you get. 4 mana, 2 and 2 white for a sorcery. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature. Then look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a white card from among them. Put that thing into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. So, even Mind Sensory. No, it's not even Mind. What am I talking about? That restricts tutors to the top 4. But yeah, look at the top 5 and get like any white card, I guess. Very restricted tutor. Maybe that's why I thought of Mind Sensor. But, okay, you know, it replaces itself with a kind of impulse effect and also 2 +1/+1 counters. It's not very good, though. It's just kind of not. 4 mana is probably too much for this, but maybe in a deck where, you know, you're centered around an important 4 or 5 drop that you just have to get in every game, but you also play creatures on the lower end. It's pretty narrow, right? So I guess I'll give this like a 4. Yeah. Tutors aren't bad, but this isn't like an all-the-way tutor either. It's, again, I think it's more closely related to an impulse effect, and it's not amazing. It's just kind of not. So I'll move on to Kavu Runner here. Only ever printed in Invasion. This is 4 mana, 3 and a red for a 3/3 Kavu. Are Kavu still Kavu? Yes, they are. They didn't get like converted to beasts or something. They didn't get, you know, converted into octopus or whatever. Anyway, Kavu Runner has haste as long as no opponent controls a white or blue creature. So it should have haste some of the time, but almost never in Commander. You know what I mean? It's just like remarkably terrible, uniquely terrible there, where most games are going to at least have somebody with a white creature. So even if it does have haste, it's bad, right? 4 mana 3/3 haste is still not good enough. So 2.2, sure, sounds about right. Maybe a 1.9, like in that range. Ambitious Etherborn, printed in Kaladesh here, is 5 mana, 4 and a black for a 4/3 Etherborn Artificer with Fabricate 1. That means when it ETBs, either it gets a +1/+1 counter, so 5 mana 5/4, or you get a 1/1 colorless Servo Artifact creature token, which is almost always the better option in most cases. Also bad. It's a fair number of bad cards today. We will get over 5, I promise you, because we still have 2 more entries and maybe even a bonus card. This is awful. This is like a 2.2. The same score I gave the last card. This is a 2.4, because at least it can put 2 bodies on the table and give you an artifact and whatever, Sacred Boon, originally printed in Ice Age. I remember looking at this art a lot, but I have no idea what the card does. So I've owned it, and I've seen it a lot, but what do you actually do? This is 2 mana, 1 and a white for an instant. Prevent up to 3 damage to target creature. At end of turn, put a +0/+1 counter on that creature for each 1 damage prevented by Sacred Boon. Okay, so you save your guy from a bolt, and then it gets +0/+3 forever at end of turn. You don't see a whole lot of +0/+1 counters. That's pretty unique. But this card is bad. I can see why I looked at it a lot, but didn't actually internalize what it did, because why would you put this in a deck most of the time? I guess this counters Lightning Bolt like back in the day, and that was probably important. You know, it counters Incinerate. Actually, does it counter Incinerate? I feel like that's like damage that would be like there's no way to prevent or redirect the damage on an Incinerate. Anyway, maybe it's just the creature can't be regenerated. I think that's what it is. But yeah, card's not great. I guess like this is also a combat trick, you know, like your guy gets blocked up on, prevent 3 of the damage, and it gets, you know, a larger booty at end of turn. Also, the art is cool. It doesn't give it any extra points, but that's probably why I looked at the art so much, because the art is like objectively pretty sweet. But I'm just going to give this like a 1.9. Actually, this is better than those last couple of creatures we looked at. It's better than the Hill Giant with maybe haste. It's better than the 5 mana, like, here's a servo dude. Is it better than that? I don't know, actually. I'll give it a 2.4. It is that. It's the same card. What's the quote unquote last card of the day here? Let's find out. The hell are you? It's Tendrils of Agony. Okay, that's a good Magic card. This is 4 mana, 2 and 2 black for a sorcery. Target player loses 2 life, you gain 2 life. Storm. So copy it for each spell you played before it this turn. This is a win condition. Has been a win condition in a lot of decks for a while, and I think that it's still sometimes sees play for that matter. So is this like a legendary card though? Like, is it at the level of like iconic? That's, you know, ask the audience. I think I haven't used it today, so I'll ask you guys, like, what do you feel, not just in terms of score, but yeah, give me a score, but like, how do you feel about Tendrils of Agony in terms of like its place in the Magic? The word lexicon comes to mind, but that's not the right word, but just like the history of Magic. Where is Tendrils of Agony? Is it in the top? If it's not in the top 100 cards, is it in the top 500 cards? You know, like top 200? I'm not sure. But this is a pretty celebrated card in some circles, for sure. So, and a pretty infamous one, too, in the history of competitive Magic, at least for a small space of time. So I'm going to give this a 6.3, a 6.4, a whole tenth of a point. I just, you know, this is a card that has to be facilitated. One could argue Grape Shot is better than this card and has been used in a lot more of these kind of storm decks, you know. Even Brain Freeze is a win condition that we've seen. Actually, I would say the hierarchy is Grape Shot, Tendrils, Brain Freeze. But, you know, maybe I'm wrong on my history. You guys let me know. But one way or the other, I think you do have to give Tendrils some props. But, you know, it's not one of those cards that's just amazing in a vacuum or anything. It definitely has to have the right build. So, you know, but, you know, when we get to like Lion's Eye Diamond, I'm going to give it like a really high score. And you could say the same thing about it. So, you know what I mean? This needs the right build, but I'm still going to give LED like much higher than a 6.4, I would assume. So, yeah, I'd say 6.4. I'm being a little bit tough on it, to be honest. I think that's like low, but I still think it's probably about right, give or take, right? You guys want to do a bonus card? Kind of down for it. Why not? Bonus card today is Nekasar the Mind Razor, baby. This is 5 mana, 2 in Grixis colors, blue, black, red, for a 2/4 legendary zombie wizard. At the beginning of each player's draw step, that player draws an additional card. Whenever an opponent draws a card, Nekasar the Mind Razor deals 1 damage to that player. Pretty infamous commander here, right? Pretty infamous commander. I'm not sure how many people are still playing Nekasar out there in the world, but there was a time where this guy, like, he really was king, you know? He really actually was, or at least, you know, Prince or Jack. Say this dude was very popular back in the day, and he's still very fun, still super, super fun, you know, almost group huggy, but also is Underworld Dreams. And when you drop an Underworld Dreams and a Shieldred and a, wow, you know, what is it? Razorhead Needlekin or whatever it's called from Duskmorn. Now, and that can go in here too. So I didn't even realize Nekasar got a new toy when that card came out, but there's all kinds of effects, you know, that this goes along with that are redundant with it, that are just really fun to fill your commander deck with. So I'm going to give Nekasar am I going to give this a higher score than Tendrils of Agony? I mean, we're rating 4 casual commander in this series. And Tendrils is not like as amazing there, right? Because it's target player, so you have to really storm off to kill everybody at the table with it. Whereas Nekasar is like one of the most popular commanders in the history of the format. So, right? 7.1. That's quite the bonus card. Please don't be mad at me. We'll be back with a fresh batch of cards tomorrow, guys. Discuss how stupid I am in the comment section, and I will see you then. Bye.